So this video is about how I balance my hormones. So this video is right for you to watch if you feel that your hormonal system has in any way been disrupted from its normal, completely balanced flow. And this video is right for both females and males. And we will cover that. Why? So for myself, my journey has been that I've been on the birth control pill for about 4.5 to 5 years. And after that time, I had an IUD. So those are two methods that other females potentially may have used as well, where I was trying to control my body into a certain reaction rather than experiencing and supporting my body in the natural process that it is. Um, so there are four categories that I used, four steps really that I used to balance my hormones. So let's get right into that. The first one, and this is something you can start to do today, right now, and that is limiting endocrine disruptors. So what are endocrines? Well, endocrines are our hormones, and we have endocrine glands that sit on top of our kidneys, and they send messages throughout our body via hormones. So endocrine disruptors are something that bring this hormonal system out of balance. And basically the largest category, basically the only endocrine disruptors that we are encountering are from sources of petroleum. So petroleum products, that is plastics, and that's also found in surprising places like our body products actually. Shampoo, conditioner, body wash, that big plastic loofah that we use to rub all of that into our skin when our pores are open in the shower. Um, those are sources of plastic. They contain petroleum derivatives and they make it into our body. Well, what happens when they make it into our body? Why is petroleum an endocrine disruptor? That is because it mimics hormones. So when it gets into our body, we have our own endogenous hormones circulating. Um, and when petroleum um, products get into our body, they mimic hormones, specifically estrogen, and that confuses the system. So yes, estrogen is a hormone that we know women produce and mostly use, but actually this also gets into males' bodies. And what happens there? Well, the masculine system now senses this estrogen, and actually the beer belly, the kind of putting on fat around the middle, um, that is actually caused by these endocrine disruptors for men, among other things. So overall, endocrine disruptors, something we definitely want to limit, something that I've been limiting where I can in order to bring our hormones back into balance. So where do we find them other than the classic shampoo, conditioner, body wash, deodorant that we use our dollars that we purchase at the store, then bring home, put onto our bodies, down the drain? Also, endocrine disruptors like that are found in what's called BPA. That's the lining of cans usually. That's bisphenol A. That's a type of plastic. Again, so it's mostly plastics um, that are lined in cans, and that leaches into food. So we want to look for cans or for products, if we are using canned products, that are BPA free. And you might see that on cans. Also, BPA, this type of plastic, is on receipts, those shiny receipts, and also on shiny magazine pages. So if we can limit our use or wash our hands after doing so, um, or don't take that receipt. So yes, why are we talking about endocrine disruptors? This isn't about fear. This isn't about inducing fear into ourselves, because obviously we are using plastics every day. Plastics are part of our life. This computer that I'm recording this on, that you potentially are watching on, or your phone, that's made of plastic, and that's not something that we can necessarily avoid. But there are places where we can avoid it. And why does something like the plastic of a computer matter? Well, we're touching it with our hands, and on our fingers is oil. So oil with plastic, it actually, the oil leaches plastic. So this is actually a really important piece where perhaps we can't avoid it from the computer, but in our kitchens, in our food, we definitely have the choice where we can store food, especially oily food, in glass containers instead of plastic. So this is another thing that we can do today, tomorrow, this week in order to support our hormonal system coming back into balance, is to start using glass containers to store our food. And if we are purchasing oils or oily substances, avoid those packaged in plastic. So it's actually something that I'm seeing in natural health food stores right now, where a lot of the time something like coconut oil or other oils are on sale, but they are on sale in plastic containers. So it's my fantasy that we as a collective are now recognizing that oils packaged in plastics is something to avoid, and that's why those products are on sale versus others. I hope that is why. I hope that is why we are collectively educating ourselves and making the choices to choose something else. So definitely when we're purchasing oils, glass containers. Okay, so this is endocrine disruptors. That's number one. We're limiting those. We are supporting our body by um, putting in less of these disruptors. Of course, as we said, we can't avoid all of them, but we're putting in less of them by choice. Okay, so then from there we get into number two, which are herbs. And I will mention 3 herbs. There are a vast variety of herbs that we can actually be using to support our system coming into hormonal balance. And I, on my journey, have used several, but these are my 3 top herbs for bringing my hormones back into balance. So the first 2 are actually medicinal mushrooms. It's chaga and reishi. Um, they are medicinal mushrooms, and that is how they're similar. They're also both adaptogens. So first, how do we consume them? We can consume them as a tea or as a tincture. And I urge you to look up more information about these ways of consuming medicinal mushrooms. So chaga and reishi, they're both adaptogens. So in that word adaptogen, we hear adapt. These help our body adapt to whatever it is that is happening in our daily life, whether we're pushing for that, a little bit of extra physical work, or whether our immune system is doing something, or whether endocrine disruptors have entered our system and our body needs to adapt and stay um, strong and balanced in the face of that. This is where adaptogens are really wonderful. Also, chaga and reishi as medicinal mushrooms are immunomodulatory. So that means that they modulate our immune system. So this is just another benefit that we get when consuming these. So immunomodulatory, that means that instead of coming in or putting our immune system up or down like certain herbs can do, why would we want to put our immune system down? Allergies are an overreaction of the immune system. So they actually come in and modulate according to what our body needs. So they will act in different ways with different bodies, and that is really the intelligence of these medicinal mushrooms. They're just so prized in various cultures, really magnificent intelligences to work with, and I urge you to look more into this. The third herb is maca, which is also actually an adaptogen. So this is just adaptogens are my favorite category of herbs. They're generally safe for everybody to use. You actually, um, it's something to be used for at least a couple of weeks until the body builds the reserve, builds this bank of adaptation that these herbs help support. So it's not like something, oh, I take it once and I'm done. This is something to be doing on a regular basis, same as limiting endocrine disruptors. So all of this is kind of a lifestyle that we're entering in order to support our hormones coming back into balance. It's what I did to create this for myself. So maca, an adaptogen. It's a radish type of looking thing, radish family, grows in Peru in the Andes. It's something that we're privileged to have access to right now, mostly all over the world, North America for sure. So this root, other than being an adaptogen, it supports the balancing of hormones. So definitely something to look into for females. Also a good addition to the diet for males. Um, and it's something that I've personally felt a big impact with in order to balance my hormones. I've really felt maca support me in that. So those three herbs, chaga, reishi, maca, my top three right now, adaptogens specifically for supporting hormonal balance. Okay, so we have the herbs, and now the third category is fats. So fats, yes, our hormones are actually fat molecules. And side note, our brain, basically our entire brain is made of fats. So fats are an essential part of our diet. It's something that's really been misled. We've really been misled in our culture by the media of this low fat this and no fat that. That's actually detrimental to our bodies. And so right now, in order to balance our hormones, we will, or I have been, I recommend that you do your research and learn about how beneficial fats are. So bringing fats into the diet is a critical thing to support hormonal balance. So my top fat in general would be ghee. So what is ghee? It is clarified butter. So that means that butter is heated until on the bottom there are milk solids, and just the top clear oily layer is what ghee is. And this is done for us. We can purchase ghee in glass containers, of course. This is used in Ayurveda. It's considered a really good gastrointestinal tonic. So if you're, if that's another benefit that you're looking for, definitely ghee is our friend there. Um, so ghee is also a saturated fat. So going with this fat misunderstanding that's sort of being perpetuated in our culture, saturated fats are actually a great thing, especially for bringing our hormones back into balance. So ghee, butter, um, and coconut oil, but mostly butter and ghee are what I would recommend. Very important here is organic, and this is organic and grass-fed. This is because fat actually is the concentrated product of the animal. So if an animal is eating something with pesticides on it, petroleum products, endocrine disruptors, that's what pesticides are, and non-natural fertilizers, those are endocrine disruptors. So those come in and get concentrated in the fat. So overall, if we're purchasing fat, especially animal fat, please choose organic and in glass containers. Okay, so those are the three first steps that I have been using to balance my hormones. And I'll tell you honestly, I've been doing this for about a year, and I have felt shifts, I have felt changes. It's been good. But it's not until I integrated the fourth piece, which I'm about to share, that everything really clicked. My body really got it and shifted into such a balance that I really have not experienced until my pre-birth control years. So this has been so phenomenal for me, and this is why I'm creating this video, hoping that it helps in the highest way for others. So what is this fourth piece? It's been about sleep patterns, dark patterns, and earth. So what do I mean here? Okay, well, when the day gets dark, when the sun sets, that is a really important time for our hormones to be in that balance of daytime, nighttime. So when it's dark, be in the dark. That's what I've learned. And through my life choices, my lifestyles, I've just been blessed to rediscover this naturally. So when it's dark now, I actually allow my skin, my largest organ, to absorb this dark. If I'm reading, I'm actually using a flashlight. just at my book. So of course, um, there are different humans out there with different choices, but to the greatest extent that you are capable of in your life right now, choose darkness when it's dark outside. So we're talking about a directed light at what you're doing, and also soft lighting. If you must light something, soft lighting. So those Himalayan salt lamps, beeswax candles, um, that would be a really great thing to do for a couple weeks, a couple months as you're choosing to balance your hormones. And this is something that I've chosen to do, and I've seen a great effect, as I've said. So why this soft lighting? Well, as the sun sets, the wavelength of light, as you've noticed from beautiful sunsets, probably becomes more orange in tone, softer, versus at noon when the light is direct, it's very white, very blue kind of light, and that is the light that we get from a regular computer screen, from a regular TV screen. So if we're working on our computer at night, there is actually an app that we can install in order to have the light coming from the screen be a bit more orange, rosy in color. As for TV, there are like specialized lenses that you can wear, but really, if you are choosing to balance your hormones, I would just recommend staying away from the TV about 2 hours after sunset. That's just a choice that you can see if that's right for you on this path. Um, if we go outside and kind of get that information of the darkness from outside, that would be an optimal thing to do. So that brings me to the second part of this darkness ritual, almost you can call it, and that's the moon. So the moon goes through its phases, its balanced phases throughout the month. There's the full moon where there's light, basically all night long there's light, and then the new moon where there's darkness all night long. So our ancestors sleeping in outside or in dwellings that allowed light like this in, that's what humans used to do. So right now, if you have access to the moon shine as it is in its phases, that would be something amazing to help balance the hormones, and something that I've experienced as part of this total like clicking of my body with the natural balanced cycles, rhythms of nature. This really gets back to nature. Um, she's always in balance. Even if we bring her out of balance somewhere, eventually nature, the rhythm reclaims. So with the moon, okay, if you can't sleep outside under the moonlight as it is, what can we do? Well, around 3 or 4 days during the full moon, we can use one of those Himalayan salt lamps throughout the whole night, or a small soft night light that we're keeping lit actually throughout the whole night to simulate the full moon. And then when it's the new moon, the dark phases, no light at night. So that means not even the blinking light of the computer or the digital clock. Overall, I would just recommend eliminating light sources like that every single night. Um, those are wavelengths again that our skin, our bodies are picking up. If you can turn off your internet at night, that's another wavelength that's coming and interacting with our pulsations. Bonus, turn off your electricity at night. Like really get to the rhythm of the earth. The earth has its own pulse, and it's actually this that we're trying to get back in touch with. This will just balance us. This is what I've found. It's what I've seen and heard about, just humanity experiencing when we come back to be close with the earth. So then another piece with this is earthing, being close to the earth. So either sleeping closer to the earth, as close as you can, really. But what do you do if you live on the 10th floor of an apartment building? Okay, still, there's still earth available to you because we live on this planet together. So what do we do if we're not directly sleeping on the earth every single night? Well, we can come out and walk barefoot 5-10 minutes a day, or go out and with our hands that also have receptors just like our feet, go out and touch the earth. This is where tree hugging comes in. So touch the earth, touch a tree, and even if you have only 5 to 10 minutes a day, touch it and just breathe into your belly. Breathe with it, breathing it all down your hands into your system, intending a balancing of your hormones, intending balance as you have just whatever time you have during the day. Um, and just as a side note, what I've felt as I've stepped back into this rhythm is that I'm actually now consciously choosing and making time with the earth as I've noticed my body shift back into it. I've noticed this hunger, this passion to be near the earth. So as you're coming out and doing your breathing with the earth 5 to 10 minutes a day, don't be surprised if, you know, a couple of weeks from now or a week from now you're doing 20 minutes and then you want to be in nature more often. It's just a natural pull that our bodies have. So we have limiting endocrine disruptors, supporting our body through that with consuming of adaptogens, chaga, reishi, maca, um, feeding ourselves highly nutritious good fats, organic grass-fed ghee being the top one. That's GHEE, and honoring the cycles of dark, honoring the cycles of the moon by being present to them, living with them. We are beings on the earth, with the earth. When we eat food, it comes from the earth. Our bodies are in tune with this. So when we come back and live closer to this, when we come back and reconnect with these rhythms, um, what I've experienced in my body is that my body had naturally come back into balance with this. So this is how I balance my hormones. It's been such a beautiful journey, especially as I said, integrating this fourth piece of the earth of darkness, that it really helped everything else click. I'm not here to diagnose, treat, or prescribe anything, but I highly suggest that you do more research for yourself, and then most likely, if you do choose to limit endocrine disruptors, integrate adaptogens, and nutritive fats into your lifestyle, just those three pieces will make a huge difference to one's health in general, let alone our hormonal system. Um, yeah, there's so much that we have yet to learn, yet to understand about our hormones. We've seen it in action, we understand it, our scientists understand some portion of it, but just like the flow and flux of nature, we can witness it, but there's so much mystery in it. So allow our bodies to come back into balance with the planet, and our bodies as a system of their own will come back in balance as well. And I am so grateful to this journey of my own journey, and so grateful to you for being witness and for being here for the duration of this video. Our bodies naturally are built, designed to have perfect health. So it's when we bring those building blocks of adaptogens, of fats, take away the blocks of endocrine disruptors, that our bodies can naturally just step back into the health and balance that is our birthright. So thank you. I wish you total bountiful health. See you next time.